Are you ready for some tea, some wedding tea? Well, welcome to my YouTube channel. It's Desiree here, and I'm so excited to see you. Allow me to sit this down. Well, I am back, and do I have a delightful story to share with you today? Yes, I'm sure you're not going to believe this one, but this really did happen. So let's go ahead and get started. This one I think we'll call She's the Boss. Yeah, she's the boss. As usual, allow me to give you some background regarding this wedding. This was a lovely couple, okay? A luxury wedding that I was planning. And when I say luxury, I'm speaking about budget. Here in the Chicagoland area, anything that's above 90K or more is considered luxury. So that'll give you the kind of the idea of the budget I was dealing with for this couple. Well, they were having their ceremony and reception in the same location at a beautiful, very unique venue in downtown Chicago on a very famous avenue, I might say. And they were having about 110 wedding guests. So keeping it intimate regarding their guest count, but spending top dollar on pretty much everything regarding this wedding. And when I tell you I had a stellar team of vendors to work with, I was super excited. This couple hired the DE team for planning. So we basically started working with them at the beginning of the planning process and took them all the way throughout the wedding day. Okay, so yeah, that top tier when it comes to hiring a wedding planner. Super excited. Couple was great. They seemed very, very much in love. I could tell that the mom was going to have a lot of involvement in this wedding because she was very close to her daughter. Okay, the groom, he was very fun. I got to meet him very early on in the process, and he was actually really active. So I'm thinking this process is going to go along smoothly. There I go once again thinking. So let's move forward now and come to the wedding rehearsal day. You know, that day when we bring all the family and the wedding party together and we practice walking down the aisle to the music. And then I also show them around the venue, share where they're going to be dressing the next day, all of those things. And then the couple is going to head on off along with their family and friends to a venue for their rehearsal dinner. All right. So we arrived to wedding rehearsal and all seems well. All right. Everybody's smiling. Everyone's happy. And pretty much everyone is present except the bride's father. Now, let me say this. I didn't think too much about it only because I hadn't heard the most wonderful things about this gentleman. And the person who shared the most about him was the bride's mom. So yeah, I'm thinking their divorce was a little sketchy, or someone got the bad end of the stick. Either way, he wasn't portrayed as a nice person to me, but I never judge a person in advance of seeing them and getting to know them for myself. So we move forward with the wedding rehearsal. All is well. People are practicing. They're smiling. Music is playing. All the things are good. And right when we were about to conclude, about 5 minutes before the rehearsal was over, here comes a gentleman through the door. Now, mind you, I'd never met the bride's father before, so I did not know that was him. The sister of the bride introduced me to him and asked me what should he do. I says, well, sir, we're about to wrap up the wedding rehearsal, so let me just let you know your role is very easy. You just need to walk your beautiful daughter down the aisle tomorrow, and you'll actually start walking when I tell you to go. And when you walk in, you'll head on down the aisle. You will give her over to her groom, and you will take a seat, all right, to the left, first seat. He seemed really cool about it. He asked me what time he needed to be at the venue. I told him about an hour before the ceremony was to start, and I went on about my business. I grabbed the wedding inventory for the couple, checked on them to make sure that they were really good, made sure mom was good and all the wedding party members were smiling, and I went on about the rest of my evening. So now let's move into the wedding day. You know, that day where everybody is smiling and happy. And I have to say, it was a beautiful July day for this couple. Yeah. And they were dressing over at a very luxurious hotel. We had all the stops in their room. Beautiful decor in their room for their photographer. They had their invitations out, bouquets there. Mom and daughter are smiling and happy. The bridesmaids are happy. I check on the groom, the groomsmen, and everybody is smiling and happy. All right. Getting dressed. Things seem to be moving along on time. So I leave the hotel and I head on over to the venue. make sure everything is being set up there properly. No issues. Remember, we had a stellar team for this wedding. All right. So the bride arrives. Oh no, let me actually back up. The groom arrives. He was very cool. He was calm. He was collect. I take him right on into the room where he'll be kind of hiding out until the start of the ceremony. And then the bride arrives. She's in her gown. She's looking beautiful. I actually have this photograph and I will never forget the photograph. She passed this mirror and you could see how beautiful her train and her veil was. She looks stunning. Take her right on into the room. Well, she'll be hanging out with her bridesmaids and her mom prior to the start of the ceremony. So me and my team, we continue to hustle and bustle and do the things we need to do because everybody is on site. So we're pretty sure, I'm almost certain that this wedding is going to start on time. The only person I'm missing is her dad. But like I told him to be there about an hour before the ceremony was to start, and we're probably an hour and a half before it's to start, so I'm not concerned. All right. We continue to unpack and do what we need to do to make sure everything is well with this couple. I check on them, make sure they're good. All is well with the world. About 45 minutes before the ceremony is to start, here comes Dad running into the venue. And when I tell you he was running, he was moving fairly quickly. Desiree, I do not know how to tie a bow tie. Okay. Let me tell y'all something. I don't either. I don't know how to tie a bow tie, but I can get YouTube out and get that tutorial and tie that thing right on up for you real well. I'm gonna move back into where I was at. Now, I was like, okay, sir, let me find someone to tie this bow tie for you because again, we're 45 minutes before the ceremony is to start, and I don't want to tinker around with this thing. Let me find the guy who knows how to tie a bow tie. So I go find one of the groomsmen. He's like, oh, sure, Desiree, I can handle it for you. He comes out of the room. He stands there. He's working with the dad, and Dad has brought some family members along with him. So we're all good. So I'm like, oh yeah, yes, we are going to start this wedding ceremony on time. So I have Dad and his family members just kind of out here. They're talking. Some of them are sitting. We've got them a few beverages. The groom and his groomsmen are in their area, and the bride, the bridesmaids, and mom are in their area. Okay, everybody's where they need to be. So there should be no reason and there should be no issues why we can't move forward with this ceremony. Well, about 10 minutes before it's time for me to line everybody up, one of the bridesmaids comes out of the room where the bride was being held, and she says that the bride needed to speak with me. No problem. I walk into the room and the bride she looks a little tense, a little stressed, unlike she had looked just maybe 20 minutes prior to me coming into the space. And I said, hey, what's good? What's going on? Desiree, I need to talk to you about something. All right, let's spill the tea. We got to start in about 10 minutes, so let me know what's going on. So let me give you a setup, a look, a visual of how this room was set up, okay? There's a beautiful glass window that faces a very famous street in downtown Chicago. There's a beautiful couch in this room. There's some high boys. There's some bridesmaids and a mirror over in one corner. And then over by the door, there's a table that has all of their bouquets. The only thing we need to do is hand the bouquets off to the ladies. And then there's Mom. All right. She's standing near the door. I have walked in. I go over to the bride, as I said, and I check on her. What's going on? What's going on? She says she needs to talk to me. Mom, who is now behind me, starts to walk forward, and she stands next to her daughter. I said, okay, hey, what's going on? The bride, with a straight face, told me, y'all want to hear what she said? Come here. The bride told me 10 minutes before the start of the ceremony that she did not want to walk down the aisle with her father. I'm going to repeat that. The bride told me 10 minutes before the start of the ceremony that she did not want to walk down the aisle with her father. I was kind of stunned because again, Dad was at rehearsal. We had a conversation about what he was supposed to do on wedding day. We now have Dad outside getting his bow tie fixed, along with a few family members waiting to meet up with his daughter to walk her down the aisle. And the bride, the daughter, next to her mom, just informed me that she did not want to walk down the aisle with her father. I'm going to pause for reaction. Gotcha. Tune in next week for some more wedding tea.